Shut up and sit down.
Alright, y'all ready?
Well, Shrek is like.
Let's talk about bad movies, unlike Shrek Retold.
Hello and welcome to the Nerds at Large Spoilercast. Why? I don't know. For Suicide Squad.
3 years late, everybody.
Woo-wee. I am Darby Hallman.
I'm Jacob Hamill.
I'm Will Outlaw.
And so me and Jacob lost a bet. Our E3 2019 betting special. Me and Jacob both lost from Will's amazing come from behind victory.
Can't believe it happens.
None of us thought it was going to happen, but it did. And as a result of that, that's how we got here to this dark place that we are in now.
You can see
as
the
you
credits.
can see in the bet, like
Cease and Kent. And
kind of, not really.
Shout out.
it kind of like you probably can't really tell, but those are the ending credits to Suicide Squad.
We really watched it.
We watched a whole hour and 53 minutes.
So we skipped to the end and played the credits so that we could
yeah, exactly. We read the Wikipedia summary. Now we're here.
And I mean, I feel okay because Will was kind of punished too. He had to watch it as well. He had to watch it again as well.
Didn't think I'd be doing a second watching of that movie, but
it's not one that I don't think. It's not one that I ever planned to do a second watch of.
I didn't gain anything from that second watch. I don't think. It wasn't like Inception where I'm like, oh,
didn't notice
that
any
makes more
subtle
sense.
plot details.
It all just makes sense now. all the like 9 different title cards make sense now.
Killer Croc's character really just comes full circle on that second watch.
You know what? Like his third grunt, like it really, when you pay attention the second time, it really.
Him being in the BET really says a lot about his character.
Main plot point.
So yeah, usually in these spoiler casts, we start out spoiler free and then go into spoilers. But this movie is 3 years old, and this thing is kind of a joke anyway. This was a lost bet, so we are. I say we just go full into spoilers just immediately. So. If you care about spoiling Suicide Squad, go away. But honestly, you shouldn't care.
You really should.
You really shouldn't care.
If you haven't seen the movie, you don't need to.
We're here to tell you all about it.
You really don't. You super don't. Yeah. So this isn't really. I had seen about half of it on a plane prior to this because we were on a plane and I had it was an international flight, so I had many hours to kill. So I'm like. Sure, we'll give it a shot. And even I was about halfway through it, and I honestly felt like the movie had not even started yet. We were still introducing characters, and like the whole plot of the movie and the point of it had not been introduced. And like watching it again the second time, it might be even worse. I think it's even further than halfway in before it really anything matters, before anything of substance happens. It's just like. God, it's one of the most puzzling starts to a big blockbuster movie I think I've ever seen in my life.
Well, they do.
Yeah, I mean,
they do these one by one introductions, right?
Yes.
That's what we were joking about the whole time. It's not fluid at all. It's like literally Amanda Waller, Viola Davis. She turns a page and introduces us to a new character, like the most clunky plot development of all time in introducing these people. So
they don't even introduce all the characters.
That's true. Yeah, not everyone gets a title card.
No, we got to the point where it's like we had already been joking so much about how they're just like slowly introducing every character without saying why they matter, and then suddenly it's like Katana shows up. Like, who the hell is this?
That felt like it was like 45 minutes into the movie.
I think it
probably
was.
I don't know if it was.
Yeah, you could just skip the first 20 minutes of this movie and like you wouldn't lose anything.
Yeah.
Oh, and we even talked about how when they finally did show when they pulled Deadshot out of his cell, like that scene, that was an awesome introduction to that character. Too bad it was 30 minutes into the movie and we had already had this insanely like exaggerated like throwback.
I mean, easily this movie could have been an hour and a half for sure.
Yeah.
And think about like cutting all of Jared Leto out. And you're at even shorter than that. So,
which that like I had heard people say that he seemed pointless in this movie and that a lot of his stuff was cut out, but it's worse than I thought. He is completely irrelevant.
Yeah,
I think I'm curious if it's because so much was cut out. Like, if there was more of him, would it seem better? Is it because there's so little of him that it seems off? I don't know.
But he's not even tied to the plot. Like,
he should have been the villain, honestly.
Yeah, he should have been, yeah.
He just kind of is. He's just kind of dicking around in Harley Quinn's backstory, and then he kind of saves her, and then gets shot down in a helicopter, and then disappears for the rest of the movie. It's just like, why?
He just
why
like
is he there?
fails at saving her over and over again, or not even over and over again, twice, and then he shows up at the end and actually does it.
He's also portrayed as like a loving husband of some sort, which we just know is not true.
He's the Joker.
Yeah,
aside from like whenever he like zaps her brain at the beginning, like they didn't actually really show anything of their relationship, because he's barely a character in this movie. For even though like all the trailers had Jared Leto Joker,
it's a joke how much he's in the movie.
It makes me think that
no pun intended.
Yeah, it makes me think that they were already thinking about the future movies, and they're like, oh, this is just going to be like a teaser of Jared Leto Joker.
For Ben Affleck's The Batman.
Yeah,
coming
Ben
2018.
Affleck's the Batman.
Okay.
Like, that's when it's going to be. Like, I honestly do wonder if that's what they were going for. And then obviously, like, that did not come to pass.
Instead, they try to write him into the movie as like, this person that Harley Quinn is torn between him or the Suicide Squad, who she's only been in for a day, and then she they have a scene where she kind of rejects him and opts for the Suicide Squad, but that doesn't really happen. Yeah. Instead, the helicopter she tries to escape on gets shot down, and she really just has no other choice.
Right.
Yeah,
they definitely play it off as she was choosing the team over the Joker, even though that was completely not true, as we saw.
When you even saw her, she's sitting on the cop car, and then they walk up, and she's like, "Oh shit, no. Hey," like. And then, like, at the end, you're just like, "You messed with my friends."
If you were going to choose any good parts of the movie, what would they be?
I mean, like, I was like, honestly, going into it, I was thinking like it won the Academy Award for costuming and stuff. I think, like, so I was like, let me look at that and see if I can like really praise that. And like, maybe a few instances, yes, but for the vast majority of it, like, visually, this movie looked bad.
Yeah, it wasn't even or interesting, really.
Or interesting, yeah. Oh, it was like such a dichotomy. Like, they were like the neon colors everywhere, where it's like, oh, it's zany and wacky, but then the actual things you're seeing are grungy aliens.
Yeah,
that like look
everything's
like rock
gray except for the neon.
Everything like has that same like Batman vs Superman and Wonder Woman both have it, and I imagine Aquaman has it, where it's just like, oh, crumbling cities, gray, grungy, like dark skies.
If we want to pick apart the costuming, like Enchantress's design. Her first design was pretty cool.
Okay, yeah.
But then they just kind of get rid of that for most of the movie until it comes back at the very end.
She just dances a lot.
I really don't feel like any of the main characters, besides for Harley Quinn, maybe were that great. Their designs.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it might have been makeup for Killer Croc that got them the Academy Award. I'm not sure. But
I mean, he's barely even in the movie.
He's also, we were joking because apparently, according to IMDb, he has a total of 8 lines and 64 words in this movie,
and the title card,
and he gets the title card.
And like you said, like the grunts that they're fighting in this movie are just kind of faceless black blobs
that they could have been copy and pasted into like any sci-fi movie ever.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's clear that there's a lot of mistakes, but the biggest one seems to be that they decided that the Suicide Squad needed to save the world instead of going after like an individual like the Joker. It's like, they had to fight all these zombies pretty much.
And we like didn't really get to explore, because like in theory, I think these are a bunch of villains that are being forced into kind of being the good guys. That is interesting. That is just inherently like kind of an interesting concept. But you didn't really get to explore that at all when, like, the villain is this ancient evil that's going to destroy the world. It's like, okay, well, obviously, whether you're good or not, you're going to attack.
Like, if I had to make this movie, I'd probably make it like, The Raid or, one of the Judge Dredd movies where it's in a single location, single goal, just kind of really action heavy. And then you kind of get little snippets of these characters' backstories. Because if you have 7 main characters. You're not going to fully flesh all of them out. So like, why even really try to?
Or at least if you're going to have the 7 characters, don't try to give them all equal footing.
Yeah.
Because that's just not, and that's how the MCU does it. The MCU does not even like try to act like it's going to give Ant-Man the same screen time as Iron Man or something like that. They're not even going to attempt to like do that because it's not going to be a good movie.
Like, you don't have the time and who cares? Like, who cares?
Well, and the result is we're sitting here like 40 minutes into the movie and nothing's happened because we're still being introduced to characters. And we multiple times while we were watching this, we just compared it to Guardians because it's just kind of the obvious, like it's a big ensemble cast of mostly characters you don't know very much about, or the average audience.
Yeah, I mean, even when it was in development and first announced, everyone was saying, "Oh, this is DC or Guardians of the Galaxy." Like they're bringing all these relatively unknown characters into one movie, trying to make it highly stylized, I guess, and it just didn't work out. The reshoots, I mean, obviously probably affected it in some way, but
yeah. And when you compare it to Guardians, like Guardians had a similar challenge where it's a big cast of characters that no one cares about, but they just immediately they threw you into. Here's them like acting as a team or acting against each other. You see them in action, and then you immediately kind of get like. I remember they're all trying to get whatever the collector had. It's been a while since I saw. They're all trying to get a certain artifact.
Yeah,
and,
it's one of the Infinity Gems, I think.
Okay, yeah, I think it was just one of the Infinity Stones. And then Gamora has it, so you get to see her for a little bit. She's running, and then it flips over the Rocket, and he has it. And then it flips over the Quill, and he has it. And you get to see all these people in action. They're doing this, and you get their character enough there. You don't need to stop. Hey, let's stop. Let's go into all of Gamora's past for 10 minutes.
Let's
go into all of Rocket Raccoons. It's the show don't tell, and this was so aggressively tell. Tell.
Yeah, I mean, clearly we know what they were going for with the title cards and stuff. Because Borderlands does that kind of
that's what I was thinking
tongue-in-cheek type stuff, but it's not tongue-in-cheek enough. It just came off as bad.
That works in a video game where you're playing as these characters, not in a movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think there was even a version of this movie that could have had giant cheesy title cards, and it made sense. I mean, so much of the Guardians is cheesy as hell.
Yeah.
And it's corny and cheesy, but that's the vibe of the movie, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean,
this seems at odds with itself.
Guardians is a movie that ends in a dance battle.
Yeah,
much like this one actually with character development. Just much better handled.
And how many different songs were in this movie?
That's
shoved
another thing.
Into this movie.
Clearly, they were going for the Guardians vibe in that aspect too. Just
none of them really, landed. I think.
Well, I mean, in Guardians, there was a narrative reason. This one was just let's throw in these popular songs.
Yeah, that's right. It's his mixtape that he was playing that he had from Earth.
And there was a kind of connection between there were all these 70s, 80s pop songs that meant a lot to him or whatever.
Yeah.
Here we have here's Bohemian Rhapsody. Here's
House of the Rising Sun because we're in New Orleans. Here's Seven Nation Army because there's 7 members of the Suicide Squad. Oh wait, we haven't shown you all of them yet.
Oh shit. Bring Katana. Oh, there she is. Okay, 7.
This is the most on the nose, and I think that's probably partially Zack Snyder's. That's just kind of what he does.
He's a music video guy, and it's so much of this just kind of seemed like corporate suits being oh, what do kids like? It's oh, apparently they like pop songs to be inserted into their movies. They like this edgy, oh, let's put tattoos all over the Joker and give him neon hair and gold chains. And
yeah, I don't know if that was the director David Ayer, that came up with all this, but yeah, just the entire direction is really off. Very off.
And it's a bummer for especially some of these characters like Joker and Harley, characters that have a rich history that everyone loves, and this was their kind of big debut onto for this universe, onto these movies. It's just and as we said, we were talking during the movie, DC has a big problem where movies like this exist in the same universe as Wonder Woman and Aquaman. They're doing really well and that people generally like, and it's just kind of like the MCU never really had that problem where they had like these like massive holes in their like, you know, like, at least like the Avengers weren't like built off of horrible movies with giant plot holes. Whereas like, yeah, anytime Wonder Woman goes forward, it's going to be like, where's Superman? Where's Batman? You know,
it would be like they very well could just do away with the shared world. I think.
Is that not what they're going for?
Though?
I mean,
but how do you do that? Because like it's so tied. It's so tied together.
I don't know.
How do you do that and make it make sense? Or,
Yeah.
And also, what do you guys think about like? I've been kind of hesitantly excited about the next Suicide Squad just because,
Right.
What's his name?
James Gunn.
James Gunn. And obviously probably like a different direction. But I'll be honest, watching this, it's like knowing that movie has to exist as a sequel to this movie kind of just kneecaps it before it even starts.
I bet you they're going to like open a portal to another dimension and like step into that new dimension and just completely forget that shit.
I do love that, like, for a movie that was so evidently like based on James Gunn's work on Guardians of the Galaxy, and then he's actually coming to do the next one. That's pretty funny. So it'll be interesting to see if he does like self-referential type stuff. I'm sure he will.
I'm sure you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, it seems like the cast for the new one is definitely less iconic, if any of these were.
Yeah, who's returning and who's new?
Honestly, I think the only person that they've said like might even be returning is Will Smith as Deadshot. And I don't know if Harley Quinn is. Harley Quinn has her own spinoff, Birds of Prey. So yeah, like there's a lot of new ones. I think King Shark and like I don't know.
I don't even know those.
Yeah, no, they're intentionally like goofy characters that James Gunn is bringing in. So I think that could be more fun in the long run than like something trying to be kind of serious and kind of funny at the same time. That was the problem with this. They didn't know what they were going for at all.
And I mean, honest to God, with like when they like there was a bunch of stories about them doing reshoots, and it really does kind of seem like they were doing that in response to trailer reactions, which again is just never,
don't do that.
Never a good idea. It's way too late to change your movie.
I mean, doing reshoots is one thing because everyone goes through that, but in this one, it seemed like there was actually like bad jump cuts happening. Like they weren't even edited well together. It was
Like
strange.
they just had this different footage, and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
wait, what do we
we
do
have
with
to put
this?
it
Like,
in there.
We don't have time to do special effects on these scenes. So just slap a bunch of neon on it.
Yeah, it was tough. Tough to watch.
And then just weird choices like me and you pointed out the font. It's just like this weird ass font. It just looks cheap. It just looks like
every character has their own font, which I guess is supposed to reflect their personality, but it doesn't really mesh well with.
But it honestly just looks like clip art or just like some free software that I would download off the internet. It does not look like a professional
We're talking about, of course,
font.
when Enchantress talks and Incubus. I think,
but also when Katana talks, she had the same font for some reason.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
That's
she had the
interesting.
exact same font.
That's tough.
But then other people had a different font. It's like
Foreign-looking font, Type 2,
Magic font.
Yeah,
they're like, oh, I guess we need a subtitle Katana.
which is a character that's like, why is this?
Why is she
she in the movie?
She's so cool. I don't know why they wasted her like that.
Yeah, she
That
has a
sucks.
blade that like captures the souls of the people
Yeah.
she's killed. Like that's really interesting, but
Yeah, she's probably
just
the most
there.
wasted.
Well, like you said, this movie needed to have like a third of the scale that it did.
Why'd they save the world?
Because a bunch of these characters could be very interesting, and even Captain Boomerang. If you take like a Guardians type, like if you think about Groot and Rocket Raccoon, they're just as stupid as Captain Boomerang.
Yeah.
Like you could have taken him as this like, oh blimey, Australia dude. That could have been
it
awesome.
wasn't even Australian.
That could have been really funny. Was he not? Was he not supposed to be at least?
I think
Yeah.
he's supposed to be. I don't know.
I'm just saying your accent was not even remotely Australian.
No.
Blimey.
Oh god, no, yeah. That's for me.
Yeah, it's like just this goofy guy who likes unicorns, and that's about it.
Oh yeah, that never really came back into play, did it? He just like put that in his pocket.
just
It's a
randomly
prop
has
that he
one.
carried around.
Yeah.
Oh boy, what a film!
I'm glad
What a
y'all
time
enjoyed
to
the
be alive.
punishment.
I had a very good time just making fun of it.
I was just prepping you guys for The Suicide Squad by James Gunn. So
well,
you're welcome.
now we're prepared.
You're welcome.
If that movie is good, we've now like done our homework. But apparently they're going to go into another universe, so it doesn't matter.
I mean, I bet you. Cast, get this out of here.
Don't like Harley Quinn look at the camera and be like, "Don't worry, it's good now." And be like, "What are you doing?" Like nothing. Well, y'all have any last Suicide Squad thoughts that you just can't? Best scene in the movie is obviously Lady stabbing the heart over and over again.
Yeah.
It's so good that they had to repeat it. They had to show it again.
Amanda Waller stabbing the Enchantress's heart. Good sound effects.
Sounded like the sound of like stabbing a football.
Yeah. But for
Nice
real,
Foley
the
work.
actual best shot was when Enchantress turns for the first time.
Yeah.
And that's probably the only good shot, actually. But
That
it's
was
cool. It's cool looking.
Yeah,
The hands.
because again, like smaller scale. It was like
Yeah.
we're doing like small CGI, not like this
Small- yeah.
gigantic battle. That's
Not a fire demon that comes out of nowhere.
like why could
Yeah.
he? Why?
Interesting power. I
rough-
wish he would have brought that up earlier.
Like a rough character concept from like gods of Egypt.
Yeah.
And I feel like his like whole I'm not gonna use my powers. I'm not gonna use my powers. And when he finally did, it was just not satisfying at all. It happened like right in the middle of the movie to just kill some random people, and it's all right, now we're gonna move on.
He was
It's
a pacifist for like 20 minutes. So that's pretty huge.
We talk about like his backstory of him settling down with his family. Like who sees Diablo? This man that looks like a skeleton and is covered in head to toe in tattoos. It's like, yeah, I want to raise a family with this man. Have 2 kids. Work
So
a 9 to
like,
5.
It makes me wonder when he got the tattoos. Like, did he have kids and then was like midlife crisis, got these tattoos?
Your kids are terrified of you.
Will he was bored with them.
Your dad has a scythe tattooed right on his forehead. But he's a family man.
Horrifying.
And then like she's shocked when she learns that he
Finds
has all
out
these
bad
guns.
things.
You're a bad guy. Horrifying.
You're like married to this gang member.
Oh man.
Oh boy. The DCEU. I don't know.
Rest in peace.
But again, they can't kill it because it's half successful now.
I think they just stop making references to the extended universe until you forget about it.
That's just going to be such a clumsy solution if they do, but that might be what they have to do.
I mean, I don't know what else they'll do.
Because now, like you literally, your Batman and Superman are gone. Like the actors,
your Batman
are gone.
is
and Flash is gone. And I don't know about Cyborg. I have no clue. But
your Batman's 20 years younger. It's an origin film. You have a different Joker. You have Aquaman, who doesn't really have anything to do with the other
honestly,
movies.
do you think they're going to like just have 2 different universes? Like, what do you like? Because I see no way that they just never do Superman and Batman again. Like they're gonna do it again. I honestly don't know.
I don't know what the
Because
future
you
holds for
can't
Superman.
stop Aquaman and Superman right now. Like,
See,
or Wonder Woman right
well,
now. You
the-
can't just stop them.
The thing with Batman is that because Ben Affleck was supposed to be like old Batman, you can always have Robert Pattinson be the young Batman and do like his earlier stories.
Yeah, prequels.
But I don't know what you're doing with Superman at this point. I have no idea.
He's a Witcher now, so it doesn't matter.
Superman is the
small
Witcher.
bill type stuff. I guess.
Yeah, Superboy.
Smallville 2. Bring it back. All right. Well,
It's been fun.
that's been Suicide Squad. We'll have to find some way to get back at Will next time we have a betting special.
We need to get Jeff to watch this movie.
I know he's the one that might have. He was probably enjoying it more than us, at least.
I would have
'cause
loved
Yeah,
to
he
see
probably would have
his
found
thoughts.
something golden nugget.
something just for as a DC fan to be like, hey, look, it's so and so on the big screen. He would have had at least that. Yeah, he hasn't seen that or Justice League.
I can't believe he hasn't seen Justice League. I mean, it's
'cause
also not good. But
He just. I think he only goes to the movies when we go, and none of us were gonna go to see Justice League. So.
fair enough.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much.
Don't
Bye.
don't watch
Don't
this
watch
movie.
Suicide Squad. Just don't. You're good. Just don't.